what else are you doing together, correct? So we have weekly activity with the folks that live here. So they're seniors, so we're looking again to have them physically and mentally active, and then we sprinkle in a little fun as well, and a little education. So it could be anything from, and Rosie is our services coordinator that we have here on site. She puts a flyer, a beautiful flyer on every door every month, a calendar of activity on every door every month, and she's the one that's facilitating these gatherings. Now we have gatherings in our community room that we'll be seeing once we do the tour. It's a beautiful space with computers, with tables for gathering, a full kitchen, and then an area for lounging. So our seniors, not only are they invited to be a part of bingo, game night, walking club, you know, how to avoid scams, you know, how to prevent falling, you know, you name it, you can think of it, we're thinking about it as well. And we give them that activity all 12 months, year round. And not only that, but then at the end of the year, and this we do portfolio-wide across all of our communities, we survey them at the end of the year. What did you like? Where did you find value in? What did you not like? What do you need that we haven't provided? And then we'll tweak what we offer the following year based on that survey to make sure that what we provide really does provide opportunity for betterment for the families and the seniors that live with us.
And if I just may interject real quick, a paradigm shift that has happened with our Children's Learning Center, with the parents and the staff, they were all concerned who was moving in. And of course they did full background checks, but what's so incredible is that they now want to work with the management team to have an adopted grandparent program for the children and the senior citizen to be able to be involved in the classroom, help with the art projects, being able to read stories, being able to participate with the children. And this is an incredible, this was not the thought 2 years ago, I assure you. And it's like God's Holy Spirit has just come down upon this place and begun something brand new for all of us.
I feel funny backtracking with a question after that explanation of details as to how God works, but when you went from 3 stories to 2 and so forth, and you're telling us about you have staff for church, you have staff for school, you have to have parking for the residents, you have Sunday parking for church attendees, etc. How did the parking thing work out with regards to how many you have to have based on unit count and et cetera, et cetera?
That's an excellent question. Very good question. And we've got the answers for you. Go ahead. Jennifer, you want to go first?
You go first.
So we're 65 units again. Not everybody has a vehicle. And for those who had a vehicle, basically for us to assign them a spot, we must have a valid registration, insurance, and all that. But at the end, out of those 65, like we have 40 spots, and exactly the 40 spots have been filled by all the tenants that do have that vehicle. And like they've been told and reminded countless of times that because we are limited, they do have to park in their assigned spot. There is no overnight parking for guests. They are allowed to park in the during the day, like they are allowed to have visitors and park in front of the leasing office. But other than that, it's just been knowing how to.
I think my question might go back a little bit further in terms of negotiation with the city as to how that formula was created in terms of the mandatory elements of staff parking and so forth versus resident.
Right. There is a formula that's used by the city. Elizabeth, you might know, here I am leaning on you. I believe it's like 1.3 vehicles per apartment, something to that nature. No?
Every city has their own parking ratios. If the project, and I don't know that it was, but if the project is done with a density bonus, which a lot of affordable is done with a density bonus, you get reduced parking per state law. So you're able to reduce your parking for that. To be honest with you, there's all different kinds of ways of doing it. You can have shared parking, you can have a parking management plan. This property, being that it is steps away from a major bus line, there's a bank right there, there's a post office right there, across the street, and you've got CVS, a grocery store. You don't have to go far in this location, so I think you can make an argument that parking isn't, we're not out in, the boonies where we don't have access to the things we need. But it is, every situation is different, and if you go the route of, density bonus, you do get, which basically is including affordable units in the law was written for the use with market rate housing, but it applies to affordable housing as well, but you can get reduced parking. So I imagine if you've got 65 units and 40 parking spaces, that's less than a
That's closer to like a 0.7, 0.75 maybe.
Which in this location, I think works really well because literally you don't have to go very far to get what you need. And it's very long. Yeah.
Yes, but we did have to collaborate with the church. So the church is allowing us to use a small number of parking spaces as well. They made sure that they kept the number that they needed per parish. They also have, and I may be oversharing, a handful of parking spots that they actually rent to some of the businesses across the street.
That is correct. We're in that process right now with an agreement they are wanting parking spaces. And so what's so wonderful is everyone has been respectful. Our Sunday parking is totally available for our church. That's the south parking area that you all saw, that you parked in. That area is totally for our church, and people have been very respectful. There has been no problems at all with parking, and we're so thankful for that. And I think that's us working together in communication.
Absolutely. And then the resident parking, if you probably didn't notice, is actually behind the two structures. It runs along this area here and then to the back, to the street.